What's up everyone, Pags here at MEI Studio. This week we're going to be doing another bench tip video, so apologies now for the potato quality video we're all about to endure. I really want to thank everyone that's been helping to grow the channel over the last 5 months or so. We're up to over 200 subscribers now and gaining more every day, and I humbly appreciate everyone that's gone and clicked that subscribe button. If you've been watching the videos and haven't yet, or if you're new here, please click that subscribe button to keep this thing going so we can bring you more content. Next week, we're going to be doing our RE20 video for our 20th mic locker video. And I thought, why not do a giveaway to celebrate 200 subs and 20 videos? We're going to be giving away an AKG P120 condenser mic to one lucky viewer. This is a great beginning mic if you're just getting started in recording, casting, or streaming, and can be really useful on a whole bunch of different applications. The only catch is, you're going to have to really watch these videos for where I tell you how to enter to win. We did a giveaway when we first started out of one of the mono mics that we reviewed. It went really well considering we only had a handful of subs back then, and I'm hoping we can get everyone really involved this time around. So hit that notify button so you know when we drop the next video, which might have the instructions on how to get this mic into your hands. Now for today's video. We're going to be modding a mic that we looked at a couple of weeks ago, the AKG C1000S. Check up top for the link for that video. This is another solid quality mic from AKG that was a trailblazer during the home recording revolution of the 80s and 90s. One of our viewers tipped me off to some mods that were done to these mics that extends the low end a bit and smooths out the top end. After the quick mod video, we're going to listen to it on a few instruments to see if what we did really makes a difference or if the mod is just fluff. The original mod is and was done by Mark Foman at Samar Audio Design. It's a relatively inexpensive mod by all accounts, and if you're not one to go tinkering on your own mics, he's definitely the person to go to. If you're on the more brave side and don't mind poking at things with a soldering iron and have access to a 3D printer, this mod can be done for less than $2 and can take about 10 minutes to complete. So let's take a look at what it takes to do that mod. Alright, let's take a look at the AKG C1000S mod. First thing we got to do is take off the head basket, which we just unscrew here. And underneath here we have the capsule that's sitting on this little rubber piece that is just kind of wedged onto this little button underneath it. We can just get that right off. We don't need to unsolder the capsule or anything. Right here we have the 3D printed piece that I came up with. I will link this in the description if you want to download this. And this just pretty much slips onto the button that is already on the mic and has its own button on the top that you can then reattach the rubber to, like so. And what this does is it gets the capsule up into the head basket a little bit more so that the ports that are on the side of the capsule don't wind up sitting next to a piece of solid metal. And to me, it really looks like a design flaw where those ports were supposed to line up with the ports in the top of the head basket, but that just doesn't happen. Adding this riser just gets it clear of all that metal. Now the next step is to remove the bottom of the mic, and it's just a single screw. And all you have to do is slide the bottom off, and that's pretty much it. To get the circuit board out, it's just held in with a couple of plastic tabs, but we're going to have to remove the capsule wires that are connected to the circuit board. There are 3 wires. There's a red, blue, and black wire that we just need to desolder. And you don't need a lot of time with the soldering iron on these. These wires are extremely thin, just a little touch and you can pull them off with the tweezers. Just be careful that you don't melt the wires. And I think I melted the housing a little bit on there. Oops. But the wires are clear. And now you just have to gently pry the sides of the body apart while kind of pulling up on the circuit board. It takes a little grip and a little force to do it, but it's not really that hard to get it out. Once you do, it just kind of pops right out and the whole thing just comes apart. And on the bottom here, there's that one little capacitor about 3/4 of the way up. And all we're gonna do is take our new capacitor and solder it across each leg of the existing capacitor. So we're not actually taking anything off the board, we're just adding on to it. So if you want to undo this mod, all you have to do is remove the capacitor off of those two pieces and you're back to your original mic. And I should mention that there's plenty of room on the back of the board here to mount a WEMA capacitor where it won't come in contact with anything else. And I'm just adjusting the legs here to match the width of the component that's already on the back of the circuit board. And just adding a little bit of solder to both sides of the existing capacitors, so I got something to work with there. And I'm just gonna make sure that these leads are properly spaced. And I don't want anything hanging off the end of it, so I just need the length to make it onto that existing capacitor, and that's pretty much it. And just a quick touch, you don't want to remove the existing capacitor. We're just kind of adding on to the value here and bringing it up to over 1 microfarad. And the capacitor that I have there is a 1 microfarad. So I believe the one that's existing on there is a 0.68 microfarad. So the two of them together winds up being like around 1.68 microfarad. And just making sure that that is not touching anything else, and it's going to sit right on the leg of the existing capacitor, and just a little touch of solder, and that's pretty much it. And that's literally the entire mod. Now it's just a matter of putting it back together. And we just have to reseat the circuit board. It's a lot easier going back in than it is coming out. Make sure the little battery tabs are in properly, and the little stick that is on the casing pokes through the circuit board at the right place. There's a hole there. It just pops in. And the last bit of soldering we have to do, we just have to reconnect the 3 tiny wires from the capsule to the board. And make sure we don't have any solder bridges between the 3 pads, because they are very close to each other and the wires are very thin. Again, don't use a lot of heat. You just want to touch the wires to the board to make that connection. And that's pretty much it. Only thing left to do now is reassemble the mic, and we just slide the bottom on. Sure that switch lines up, it's free and clear. Pop the screw back in the bottom, and screw on the head basket, and this mic is complete and ready to go. And we can see here that the capsule is now sitting way higher in the head basket where it should be. Now let's take a listen to it. After doing the listening tests, I wasn't 100% sure as to what the mod was doing. I could hear differences in the bottom end and wasn't quite sure what was going on the top end. So what I did was run a sine sweep from 20 hertz all the way up to 22 kilohertz and put the two mics in front of the speakers just to see what it would pick up. We have an RTA in the studio control room that gives a pretty flat response from the monitors. Even though our speakers can't go down to 20 hertz, they do go down to around 35, 40, somewhere around there. So I knew I was going to get some of the bottom end that I was looking for, and the tweeters on the speakers definitely go above 20K. I have tested these in the past, and they've gone up to about 23, I think. So we did a 20 to 22 sweep, and this is what we're looking at. So the white line is the modded mic, and the red line is the stock microphone. And the first thing that I noticed is the difference in the bottom end. On the graph here, it doesn't look like much, but when we look at what the compensation curve would be, or basically to get these two mics to sound the same, this is what we're looking at. And it's pretty huge. There's a severe lacking of the bottom end on the unmodded mic, and we have these weird little dips up here at around 6K and 10K. There's a little something going on in the mid-range, but it's really not much to speak of. So what I think I'm hearing is the lack of bottom end on the unmodded mic, which I've always noticed. And also whatever's going on the top end was causing a weird kind of comb filtering. I noticed that a lot when I was running a pink noise signal through the speakers and having the microphone pick it up. The phase issues going on up in those little 6 and 10K ranges was really bizarre. And again, I think that has to do with the ports on the capsule not lining up with the ports that are on the body and causing reflections inside the housing of the microphone. But yeah, this mic mod is definitely doing something to help the microphone out. I do like the added bottom end onto these mics, and the smoothed out top end is definitely noticeable. And I definitely would recommend doing this mod. Again, if you can't do this mod, there's a website link below to Samar Audio that will do the microphone mod for you for a fee. And if you're handy with a soldering iron and can have a 3D printed object made, this can cost you next to nothing. Well, that's it for this time. This is Pags signing off.